Kenneth Harlan was a silent leading man in the 19 teens and 20s and was a leading man for the first few years of the Talkies, but then he shifted to character work. Why? Join me as I investigate. Kenneth Harlan was born in Boston in 1895 to George and Rita Harlan. Rita was an accomplished stage actress and would later act on the screen, and paternal uncle Otis Harlan was also a famous stage actor and eventually, also on the screen, voiced Happy in Snow White. It comes as no surprise that since he was in a family of actors, Kenneth made his stage debut young, appearing on the vaudeville stage at the age of 7. He also was a trained dancer from a young age. Even though he was often on the stage, we know that he graduated from high school and attended Fordham University. In 1916, he toured as a dancer with Evan Burroughs Fontaine, who had previously danced with the Dinishawn Dancers. In 1917, Kenneth made his screen debut, starring as leading man to Constance Talmadge in the comedy Betsy's Burglar, which also starred Monty Blue. It appears to have done well, and Kenneth was off to a fantastic start as a leading man of the movies. He then starred in 5 more pictures in 1917 alone, including playing opposite Mildred Harris in The Price of a Good Time, which I profiled in my last video. He also starred with Carmel Myers in The Lash of Power, winning glowing reviews for his work, including from Moving Picture World, who wrote that Kenneth Harlan undertakes heroics and villainies that recall the palmy days of melodrama. Kenneth then starred in 12 more pictures between 1918 and 1919. Highlights included several more films with Carmel Myers, such as My Unmarried Wife, and starring with Mary Pickford in The Hoodlum, which he filmed after his 1919 service in World War I. Thankfully, this picture survives and also was a hit. Kenneth continued to work as an in-demand leading man throughout the 1920s, appearing in several films for the rest of the silent era. Highlights of this period include Love, Honor, and Obey from 1920, The Surviving the Primitive Lover from 1922, in which he starred with Constance Talmadge and Harrison Ford, East Side, West Side, which also survives and also stars Eileen Percy, the wonderful 1924 Poison Paradise, in which he played artist Hugh Kildare, who takes in penniless Margot, played by Clara Bow, 1925's The Marriage World with Corinne Griffith, 1926's adventure drama The Ice Flood with Viola Dana, and 1928's Midnight Rose with Laia DePuti. After filming A Few Silence in 1929, Kenneth left Hollywood for Broadway, where he starred in the play White Flame. Kenneth entered the Talkies in 1930 when he starred with Marceline Day in Tiffany's Paradise Island, which not only allowed him to play brave protagonist Jim Thorne, but also let him debut his stage-trained singing voice in the songs I've Got a Girl in Every Port and Drinking Song. Kenneth then stayed at Tiffany and starred in the western Under Montana Skies with Dorothy Gulliver. In 1931, Kenneth moved to Universal, where he starred as Secret Service agent Gary Gordon in the mystery serial Fingerprints. He also starred as Captain Harry Drake in the adventure picture serial Danger Island that same year. Danger Island was to be Kenneth's final starring role in the Talkies. In 1932, he moved on to an impressive career as a character actor that lasted until 1943, except when he took some time off in 1933 to return to Broadway to star with Jean Arthur in The Curtain Rises. While Kenneth's character parts in the Talkies varied in size, he, like all of his contemporaries that I have investigated, always gave 100% and made his time on the screen truly memorable. Highlights of this period include Manhunt from 1936, appearing alongside former co-star Mildred Harris in the hilarious Three Stooges short Movie Maniacs that same year, appearing as Carter Snowden in the 1937 serial The Mysterious Pilot, supporting Ann Nagel in 1938's Sales Lady, appearing with Constance Bennett in the delightful 1938 comedy Merrily We Live, appearing as the doomed Charles Roberts in the 1940 serial The Green Hornet, supporting Neil Hamilton as Detective Dunlap in 1941's Dangerous Lady, and appearing as Eddie Moore in 1943's The Underdog. His final film was the 1943 Gale Storm vehicle Nearly 18. Following its production, Kenneth retired at the age of 48. Believe it or not, Kenneth was married 9 times, including to actresses Marie Prevost and Helene Stanton. Kenneth appears to have enjoyed his retirement with his last 4 wives. His final marriage to Rosemary Mirianian lasted for the rest of his life. Sadly, in March of 1967, Kenneth entered the hospital for abdominal surgery and died from a brain aneurysm. He was 71 years old. So we are left with the question, why did Kenneth Harlan transition to character work after 2 years of starring in the Talkies? Well, he was younger than many of his peers who made the same transition, so it's curious. I think that his departure from Hollywood in 1929 for Broadway at such a critical time for silent actors could be part of the reason. It also could be that his appearance and versatility made him a natural to play a variety of different characters, so that shift to character work made the most sense. Either way, Kenneth excelled at all of his parts, and no matter what the part was, if it was a major supporting role or just a brief scene here or there, he always stole every scene in which he appeared, and for that, he is a true legend. You can find a number of Kenneth's films on YouTube to enjoy. The Hoodlum, The Primitive Lover, East Side, West Side, Poison Paradise, The Ice Flood, Paradise Island, Under Montana Skies, The Mysterious Pilot, Sales Lady, The Green Hornet, Dangerous Lady, and The Underdog. I must thank my sources for this episode: Travelanche, bwesterns.com, Virtual History, the Internet Broadway Database, IMDb, Find a Grave, and Archive.org, and the Media History Digital Library for their digitization of moving picture world and variety. Please like and subscribe or follow this account if you want to learn more about the history of silent film stars whose stardom lasted only briefly in the Talkies. Up next, join me as I investigate the silent to talkie career of John Herron. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day.